Alright, today we're going to be playing with Lacerate of Butchering. Let's go ahead and get started with a little bit of a Maven invitation. Now I could use Berserk, but for the most part I usually don't use Berserk, but I'll use it here just to see that you can kind of wipe out the bosses pretty fast when you hit Berserk. But because with the Lacerate of Butchering, your attack speed is so low, you are going to have to weapon swap again, and then charge it up with the pumpy pump, and then get back at it. So you're probably better just to not pop Berserk, and just rock it with 110 Rage. The good thing about Lacerate of Butchering is it's a ranged melee skill. You don't have to be up close and personal, and you can hit them from a distance. Alright, I'll Berserk. Excellente. Now let's take a look at what I'm rocking with. Let's start in my weapon. I don't have a 6-link. Originally this was going to be General's Cry build, but I haven't 6-linked it yet. I don't really want to I don't feel like clicking it a bunch or buy infusing, so I'm just going to leave it as is. I got Ancestral War Chief, Mark on Hit with Assassin Mark, Intimidating Cry, Life Tap, Awaken Enhance. Now, this is really good because Intimidating Cry with Awaken Enhance gets 164% increased cooldown recovery, which means it pops every 3 seconds. That's pretty important because otherwise it pops every 4 seconds and you get 2 exerted attacks, which deal more melee damage. Now the reason that's important is we're doing lightning and cold damage. So when you exert an attack, you do way more lightning damage, which produces a bigger shock, and then you do more damage off of that bigger shock. So every time you Intimidating Cry, you're going to do a bigger shock. So it kind of steamrolls in your damage a little bit. I'll try it without... like right now I'm not using Multistrike. I'll put Multistrike on later. I'll run a couple of maps. I mean, I have a couple here. Might as well. They both have low resistances. I don't want to run low resistance maps because I'm using a Replica Abyssus. I take 40% more elemental damage. Now the reason I can run this is my skill tree. I'm grabbing extra resistances here. I'm grabbing these resistances there, and then these resistances here. This is a lot of points to dedicate to grabbing some resistances to offset the damage I receive from elemental damage, and it might not be worth it. So I might throw on a second helmet just so you can see without it, but it does increase the damage pretty significantly because of that crit multiplier and all the flat damage it's adding. So that's extremely nice. Now, quality for Lacerate of Butchering increases radius, and I don't really know exactly what that does. So I have 1.2% increased radius just because I'm using an Ashes to the Stars and I have it leveled up. I'm not doing anything beyond that for quality, so it gets an extra 30% quality. Now I have the quality body armor, but I'm not going to be using that because I don't really think it needs it for Lacerate of Butchering. But not all my gems are full leveled. I just popped this elemental damage on. I got this volatility, Pulverize, Inspiration, Critical Strikes. I could do critical damage, which is probably going to do more damage to bosses because of my bosses get the mark put on them. But critical strike chance is better for mapping, and I'm mostly going to be doing mapping. Now, if we take a look at what I chose to grab, I grabbed these sword nodes. The top side is probably better, but I was running a little low on points, so I went down below. These two-handed crit multipliers are the only reason I went through the middle instead of on the bottom, and then maybe open up the opportunity to get another exert, but I'm not quite certain that's worth it. 2 exerts is fine. The main reason I'm using exert is to be able to shock real big, and those 2 exerts will do that. I'm getting spell suppression is lucky, and my spell suppression is at 83%, so I am effectively at 100%. Very strong 100% right there. I'm grabbing this just because I'm converting 40% of my physical damage to cold, which gives me a full convert because I also have this right here, which gives me 30% of physical damage converted to lightning while affected by wrath, and then I put it on my glove. So I'm converting, I think, 98 or 99% of my physical damage to elemental, grabbing sword crit here. So it's a crit elemental sword build, and the only reason I'm running an elemental build is because this sword treats enemy monster resistances as inverted. Now I could do a What's the name of that silly skill? You get resonance. Trinity. I could do Trinity support. But if you look at my cold and lightning damage, my lightning damage is 654 to 44,000. And my cold is 2,409 to 20,000. The odds of my cold being higher than my lightning are pretty low. It will happen, and if I had faster attack speed, I'd probably put that on. So if I decide to drop my Warcry and I put on Multistrike, I'd probably put on Trinity. Just because I'll get more attacks off, and I'll get more likely to do a higher cold damage than a lightning damage. But until then, I'm not going to be running Trinity. Gloves, pretty basic. I'm only using these because of the rage, but because I'm doing a full conversion, the physical damage per 10 rage isn't completely lost, because I am converting all of that physical damage to elemental. There's not a lot of physical damage on there, but it is being converted to elemental, so that 7% increase does get a bit of a double dip. So it's probably not that bad of a belt, and I just don't have a better belt at the moment. These gloves are pretty fire. This ring is pretty great as well. Ashes of the Stars. Body armor is pretty spectacular. I finally went and got a 6-link. I have 3 body armors that I'm working with. I'm working with that guy. Actually, I have 4 body armors I can work with. I got that body armor. I got the Carcass Jack. I got this guy, and I got this guy. I'm running Grace right now, but if I ever switch to the Determination, I'm probably going to switch to this, but I would never use this body armor when I have an Abyssus. I feel these two do not go well together, because I don't really want my physical damage to be elemental damage, and I also don't want that negative 60 lightning. For my flask, I'm using Edziri's Promise, Wise Oak. I know, Wise Oak? This is my first time I've ever used Wise Oak in my entire life, and I'm using Wise Oak for the 6% reduced elemental damage, which is going to help offset the downside of Replica Abyssus. Now, my Bane, the Bane of my existence, is elemental damage on the ground, so I have to pay very close attention not to stand on elemental damage on the ground. I guess I'll fight some bosses with this. Let's do some regular maps first, then I'll move into some bosses. Let's do I don't really know. We'll do one of these. I don't really have any of these maps memorized. I don't really like the map selection this league. I don't have like my favorites, or at least my favorites don't drop. Reduce aura effect, which is going to be rough because I do have quite a bit of auras: Wrath, Grace, Haste, Precision, and Vitality. But I should be able to run that. I do a little bit of a weapon swap, so I make sure that I don't have auras on my weapon, which I don't. If you have auras on your weapon, weapon swap is just, it's not fun. Get my 110 rage, and I'm mostly just going to run the entire map with 110 rage, rarely popping berserk. And I like the playstyle. Big slow attacks, but there's an enemy here that deserves a berserk. So I'm gonna... Oh, I thought it was a boss. It was just a rare. Pop berserk for no reason. Now you'll see that I'm not dying a lot. And that's Grace. Grace is the whole reason I'm not dying. Grace is fantastic. It gives you evasion, and I feel evasion is just so much better than armor. Armor really doesn't pick up until you get like 30,000 plus, or your base like 5,000. So when you get like 5,000 armor, you can avoid a lot of those small hits that will overwhelm you, but that can all be avoided with Grace. And then when you get to 30 to 50,000, then you can actually start absorbing some of those bigger hits that would otherwise kill you. But getting to like 10,000 armor, it's not that beneficial, and that's about where I'm at with Determination. So running Grace is better than Determination. All those words just to say that running Grace is better than running Determination. I really like the skill. It does play better with Multistrike. I'll put that on after this map. The spell suppression I think is mandatory with Replica Abyssus. If you don't have spell suppression with Replica Abyssus, you're gonna die, and you're gonna die quick, and you're gonna die easy. No way around it. Now, it's not that fun to watch, probably, because you can't see me hit a lot of the enemies, because I am off-screening them. But you see that yellow just vanish? Let's kill the bubble dude. And one of the main things that's doing a lot of damage. I am getting like 24% shocks on a lot of these guys. And shock is pretty nice. Pretty nice. And each one of these attacks is a multi-attack, but if you want to just tap it and get a quick little swing out, you can do a single swing of it, which is pretty handy. I'm just going to do one, and then check for bosses, just because it's cool looking. Well, it's not cool looking because you didn't see anything. There we go. So the damage is pretty acceptable. No boss, no boss. A boss, look at this. Perfect. Now this boss might kill me because I'm gonna berserk, and I'm probably gonna run out of berserk, so I'm gonna drop a portal here. Wait till he spawns. Is that him? Nope, that's just the yellow. There he is. Dun dun. Probably shouldn't have berserked. He's already in his phase. Good old Metroid. Weapon swap, berserk, Warcry. Dead, Sacred Blossom, don't know what that does, but I got the win. And as you saw, I was hitting pretty hard. This hits pretty hard, just like I thought it would. And I was kind of thinking Slayer would be pretty good, but I like having the rage. I like having 110 rage, it's kind of nice. Speeds up the map pretty quick, increases your movement speed. I don't like to use dashes or leap slams very often. I don't remember if I killed the boss. If I did, I didn't even realize. Let's see, I think he's over here. This boss, this is the main thing I don't like about this map. It's a really great map, but the boss is sometimes hard to see. And I think, is this them? Yeah, that's him. So let's do Totem, Berserk. Completely unnecessary because my damage is already well beyond what is needed for T16. Okay, now let's put on Multistrike. Multistrike. Am I leveling you up over here? I am leveling you up. Let's replace... Yeah, I'll replace Pulverize. Pulverize is great for the increased area of effect, but it does have a reduced attack speed on there, and I'm going to want to demonstrate Multistrike, meaning fast attack speed. So let's run another map with Multistrike on, so you can see what it looks like with Multistrike. I want to do something, vaults are huge, that should be pretty nice. Nice long map. It's like a 4-corridor situation. Yeah, that should be fine. Now this build would be great for a Mage Blood. I'm kind of saving for one secretly. Secretly saving for a Mage Blood. It's like 160 Divines, and I got like 70 Divines right now, and I have Awaken Enhance, which at the time was 70. I need probably another 30 Divines if I can save it. And the price of Mage Blood doesn't go up since then. Oh, I should have Warcried. Because now I have to charge my rage the old-fashioned way. Which is fine. You can see the attack speed start to increase with the more rage. And this might make the build work for a lot of you attack speed whores. I like the slower, more deliberate pace of a slow attack speed. It has more weight to it. But if you like a fast attack speed, you can get it done with Multistrike. I think it's an inferior product in the long run, simply because you're getting much smaller shocks. But I also think this map has increased health, right? So keep that in mind. Oh, just the unique boss has increased health. Yeah, so the damage is quite a bit lower. Maybe not quite a bit, but it's lower with this setup. But if you like fast attack speed, this might be the only way you can play it, because otherwise your attack speed's pretty slow. If you give a little tappy as you're swinging through here, you can clear out a lot of the riffraff, the small riffraff. It is a pretty fun playstyle. I think I like Rage Cleave better, and I also like Rage Vortex better, and I also like Blade Storm better, but this is pretty fucking cool. Big sonic booms, and it does play and look cooler with Multistrike. And when you're doing blighted maps, the Multistrikes will kind of auto-target and auto-swing at things, which makes it very handy. And obviously the faster attack speed is very nice. And I got a movement speed shrine, so now we're just gonna go ham. That was fun. Gotta love those movement speed shrines. They really liven up any map you can do. Alright, that's Multistrike. I prefer the slow, big attacks. Like that. Alright, now let's do a couple more maps. Let's do some of these guys. A Baron. Ooh, monster elemental resistances. That's gonna make the reversion of these much stronger. So you wanna, what you could do if you're doing multiple builds is just save all your maps up that have monster elemental resistances, and this guy's gonna smoke those maps. Smoke them like a bow. And paper DPS doesn't really mean anything, and I haven't taken this to POB, so I don't know exactly what's the most efficient or damage-wise. But if we take a look at just the paper deeps with 110 rage, we're looking at 138,000, which doesn't mean jack diddly because we're doing elemental damage, and they have all kinds of resistances that are being inverted, so that increases that damage a ton. This is pretty good for Blight. Pretty good for the blight mechanic. Oh yeah, I could definitely see Multistrike being mandatory for a lot of people, because this attack speed is very slow. I like it. I like to see the big hits. Feels girthy. Now in terms of the radius, I don't really know what that does. I kept trying to find the difference. I think it's like it almost feels like it's decreasing the angle, and that may seem obvious that it's making the attacks wider, but it's not that obvious. Let me take off pulverize support. I mean, yeah, I guess you can see it. Oh, they're behind me a little bit. Oh, it might increase the range a little. It kind of looks like it increases the range, but it's not that noticeable. So you don't get that much benefit from increased AoE, or else I would just continue to use the Carcass Jack. But since, you know, not using the Carcass Jack, a body armor with that crit on it would be pretty slick, which it is pretty slick. Let's take a look at what my crit chance is. By weapon swap, by mistake. Trying to hit C. Let's see what we got here. Lacerate. Chance to hit 100%. Chance to crit 74%. That crit multi is a bit low. Crit multi is a bit low. I'm not really getting crit multi in a lot of places, so if you really want to amp the damage up, you can get a lot of crit multi. I'm using the helmet to get most of my crit multi. If you want to be lazy, you can use the gloves to give you a flat 300% crit multi, but you're pretty capped. It's a very powerful set of gloves. Early on, you can get 7% increased attack speed, and your crit multi is 300, and you start with 150, so it's like getting 150 free crit multi. which is like really good for a starter build. But whenever you're building a crit build, you need to get well above 300% in order to start getting the full benefit. Which is why if I was running bosses, I'd probably do whatever this map is. I need to burn it forever because I hate this boss. Oh, I didn't get a choice in my map. Let's weapon swap. Get my rage up. Drop a portal. Let's get rid of this delirium. I don't really want to fight this boss with delirium. I could have got him without moving, but I got scared. I got scared. So I dashed on out of there. I'm done with this map. You saw it kill that boss. Let's see what other content. Let's do a boss. What kind of bosses do I have saved up? What kind of bosses do I have saved up? I got a Shaper or a Sirius. I think a Sirius would be more fun. He runs around and is super annoying all the time. So let's fight a Sirius. He's gonna be talking for a while. Let's take a look at this. It's giving me a little bit of suppression, which is nice, and conversion, but it's not really doing that much for me. So this is kind of a dead node. It's not really that dead. The 15 spell suppress is really nice, and the convert is just okay. But you can get way better ones than this, or you can just get a better regular jewel. One downside with this build is I do only have access to pretty much 2 jewel slots. You could reformat it and redesign it. Instead of going through the middle and up here, you just go straight down at the bottom and then get enough for this cluster jewel here. You can also avoid going over to this whole area and then pipe back up here to get this one, and then that grab these crits. Might result in more damage than grabbing the sword crits, but I wanted to come up this way anyways. Because you got a little this and this, which are pretty nice. Pretty nice, and at the time I needed more elemental resistances, so that's why I chose to go over this way. But you can totally come up here, probably result in better damage because these nodes are just really strong. Come up this way, these two are pretty strong, this is really strong. These not so much, but you can get these as well if you go down the bottom. So you can grab these crit nodes here, these crit nodes here, and then a triple cluster jewel system, which might work alright. Alright, he's done yip yapping. He's done yip yapping. You can also do Herald of Ice, but I'm using Vitality. Herald of Ice does increase the damage by quite a bit, but I like Vitality because of my degen. It helps out a lot from the degen. But you can be nice and safe fighting this dude from a distance, swinging your big sword at him. Though you're safer up close. You see the damage is pretty solid. Those hits are big. They produce pretty good shocks. If you really wanted to, you can convert your cold damage to lightning, which, I mean, your light, yeah, no, you can't convert cold to lightning. You don't do lightning to cold. But you can convert your lightning to cold, which I don't know why you would want to. Big freezes, I guess, but lightning, in my opinion, is the superior product. But I guess you could convert to, what is it, brittle? Get down from there, buddy. I should have cast Berserk so I could be at full rage. He's supposed to come down way before this. Get your ass down here. My guy, what is wrong with you? He's supposed to do like 3 and then that's it. Oh, he's trying to make it to the fucking stairs. He's just living up here now. He lives up here now. Oh, it's because I have a rage build and he wants to drop my rage. Well, too late. I'm going berserk. My rage will be dissipated, then I'm gonna weapon swap and get my rage back, you asshole. There, now I'm full rage. 26 shock. I could cast Berserk at no penalty, and it probably would have made him phase pretty instantly. I might do that this time. I'm gonna go up this way so he doesn't go up to the stairs. You're not going to the stairs. You shall not. No. Go the other way. You shall not pass. No. Don't go to the stairs. Stop. Yeah, instant phase by popping Berserk. A much better choice. I should have did it the other 2 times. Now I just got a weapon swap to get my Berserk back. He's up in the stairs. There's nothing I can do. This is just where he's going. He's determined he's going up to the stairs. You fucking asshole. Get down from there. You clown. I'm not gonna Berserk on... Is this his final phase? I'm definitely not gonna Berserk on his final phase. He teleports around too much. As soon as I hit Berserk, he's gonna... Actually, I could do it here. I'll do it right here. Nope, he teleported around. Yeah, it's better not to Berserk. It's also better not to stand there and let him shoot you in the face. But, you know... You gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes you gotta let a man shoot his load on your face. It's just what you gotta do sometimes. You gotta accept it. It's coming. And that's what just happened. I got loaded by Sirius. He shot his loaded baked potatoes on my face. I would like to fight you. There you are. Oh, you teleported? I would still like to fight you. Maybe we could fight instead of, you know, you going into vulnerable phase, invulnerable phase, after invulnerable phase. I had to do Berserk because I was taking degen. This is all skill issue. As you can see, if you're better at the game than me, you wouldn't be having this skill issues here. It's not really a reflection on the build, though I think Multistrike might be better for bossing. And I also said that I need to move this. Also said I should have put crit multi instead of crit chance on to get bigger shocks, bigger crits. And the real secret to fighting this boss is just never die. Re-engaging is just ass. I don't even know where the exit is. There's the exit. Because there's this fucking degen all over the ground. Terrible fight. Whatever he dropped, it's not good. I mean, doesn't even show up, it's so bad. Of course, I do run a higher filter when I make videos, so I'm picking up less stuff, so it's less boring. Still boring, just less boring, right? You're never gonna get that much entertainment out of this. But you will get entertainment out of watching me break these gloves. That's one downside, is I kind of want them to go here, but if you do the control click, they go there. Oh, you got bottom roll on the life. Ugh. And bricked on first try. First try brick. I mean, I guess I got level 2 minions, but whatever. Alright. We killed the Sirius, we killed the Baron. Let's kill the IceChick. Less cooldown. Yeah, that should be fine. The IceChick will be fun to kill because she fights at a range and she'll like go into the clouds and you can just hold still and whack her off, which would be really nice. Because when you're doing a melee build, which technically this is a melee build, when you're doing a melee build and that bitch just like wants to go wander, she just takes off into the clouds and you can't target her and then you just gotta hang out. It's kind of annoying, but with this build, I got the distance. I got the range. So she can hang out all she wants and I'm gonna be throwing these sonic booms at her. Sonic boom! Sonic boom! Hang out in my little corner. Nice and frozen. This build's a little dishonest. I don't have ailment immunity. I have a little bit of avoidance, but not immunity. So if you're going to turn this into like a real build, instead of just testing out this, you're going to want to handle that ailment immunity at some way, at some point. But I don't get hit with ailments too much because of my, my dodge chance. And then the spell suppression reduces how much the ailments hit, how big the shocks are, how big the ignites are, if it's coming from a spell. Gotta love that movement speed flask. It's a really good build. This would be a great build for Headhunter. Good build for Shrines, because you just got all that range. Not as good as Rage Vortex, because Rage Vortex you've got AoE and range, and you can just hit everything. But Herald of Ice is pretty rad. Maybe I'll put that on after this, so you can see it with Herald of Ice. Instead of Vitality, I just die a little bit more because of the Rage degen. I'm not going Berserk, so I'm getting degened constantly. And I don't have strong life leech. I have life leech, but it doesn't have any multipliers, so it leeches more life. I gotta sneeze. I don't want to do it. Ugh. I fucking hate sneezing. It's almost as bad as hiccuping. I'm a berserk on her. I didn't even get to see her life. I killed her too quickly. I always need to come from a different angle. It always blocks the life total. That was lame. No one got to see how hard I was hitting her. How big of a shock I got on her. I disappointed everyone, including myself. My day is ruined. Alright, what was I gonna do? Herald of Ice instead of Vitality, which means I'm gonna have to re-roll these colors, which shouldn't be too difficult. I'm gonna do it this way because I want the Herald of Ice not to be linked. Three sockets, 4 sockets, 3 sockets, 4 sockets, 3 sockets. You guys having fun here? Nope, it's gonna take too long. It's gonna be more wasteful this way, but it will be faster. Boom. Faster. More wasteful, but faster. And we are putting a Herald of Ice in here. Ice. Herald of Ice. Herald of Ice. fuck? Do I know how to spell Herald? Oh. Do I have it over here? I do. I'm leveling it up. Now let's run a map with Herald of Ice. Let's do another boss. We killed the IceChick. Let's kill Snaky. We can do Reflect Biz, but life regeneration, elemental resistances. I end up with a bunch that need to be rerolled, and I get lazy and I don't want to reroll them, but this one should be fine. Oh, Burning Ground is terrible, but you can see that'd be a good example of why I use Vitality. I'll be dying to Burning Ground a lot. And yes, I could go into my Mantheon and put Burning Ground on right here, but I don't have it leveled up, and I don't want to. I don't want to Google what boss to fight. Not Google, I don't want to look up what boss to fight. Let's see. Capture Meepod, the Earth Scorcher. Get my rage. Despite all my rage, I am still just a rat in a cage. That's what I think of when I hear rage. Or vampire. You have no clue what I'm talking about. Young kids. Not knowing who the Smashing Pumpkins are. Come on. Seeing little Herald of Ice explosions. Pretty nice. I should have put on Multistrike too for the full effect so you could run around like a little zoomer. Saw me get frozen right there. I'm not freeze immune. That's just not a good idea. See my life struggles. So if you want to do Herald of Ice, you're gonna have to squeeze in either Vitality or some other life regeneration or some more Leech somewhere. I mean, it would be only another 3 points to get increased Leech. See that one swing strategy, I really like it. You swing once and then proceed, swing once, swing once, swing once. Which is why I like this a little better than Multistrike. Multistrike, it strikes a little too fast, so you get the double swing, and you're doing less damage with that first attack. But it is faster. Like, your first pop-off is a bit quicker, because you got insane attack speed with Multistrike. Back in the day, you couldn't cancel the Multistrike, which made it brutal. And this fucking Burning Ground, look at it. It's not as bad as I thought. It's still pretty bad. Let's go kill this boss real quick and then go back for the Blight. I'm going back for the Blight, yeah. Well, Pump destroyed. I'm fine with that. I didn't want Pump anyways. Alright, let's see if we can kill this guy before he spawns out of here. We need to hit it with a T, we need to hit it with an R, and we need to hit it with an E. I made it. I killed it. I killed him. He didn't kill me. That didn't count. You saw that damage over time on the ground. Pretty brutal with replica abysses. Replica abysses. Brutal mod with this. The Burning Ground. I don't like the league mechanic. It's okay, but I feel it'd been better if they just made it one giant zone that you always know. Just basically take Delve, but remove all the Delve piping, and you just run around and uncover a big zone area. And so instead of being randomly generated, it would be curated. And I think I like some curation. I can't even shop with this guy because of the damage over time. You guys will let me know if any of those were good. But yeah, I don't have fun coming in here. It's just a waste of time in my opinion. And by waste of time, it's because I'm not having fun when I go in there. I go in there, it's never a good time. I'm like, I don't like it. It just wasn't a very enjoyable or rewarding sense of exploration going in there. Or maybe they just needed more stuff to find. I don't know what that would entail. Give me my loot. Let's do... I can't portal in there. So what the hell just... Did anyone notice what just happened there? The clicking is so wonky in this game. Do I got any... Oh, should I try one of these guys? I feel I should try one of these guys. I don't want that monsters take reduced damage from critical strikes, though. Can't do Reflect Elemental. Can't do reduced life recovery. I really should put Vitality back on for this, but... Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Here, let's cater this. Let's cater this. Perfect. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We're fine with all of this. The increased area effect is kind of nasty. No, I'm not fine with that. Well, that one's great. Yeah, I'm gonna do Berserk and just go crazy. I'm gonna nut all over them. Of course, I didn't want to pop Berserk right there. I was trying to pop the other one. I just wasted it. I'm not very good at knowing where my fingers are. I meant to hit the totem. Alright, so let's hit totem. R, T. Oh, that was weapon swap. No. No. Okay, let's try this again. R. I can't even hit the right buttons. I can't even hit the right buttons. Guys, I'm sure you saw that. Can't even hit the right buttons. But you know what? Show some of the mobility of this build here. I don't need to be close. Alright, let's try this again. R, T, T, Berserk, Slaughter. And weapon swap. Get my Berserk back. Berserk. Oh, I'm swinging at ghosts, literally. I knew I was gonna die. I knew it. I knew I was gonna die. Mostly because I can't even control. This is why I don't do weapon swap. Well, one, the mic is like right over my keyboard, so I can't see where my hands are. And a lot of times I lift my left hand up off this thing completely. So I should just not do any weapon swapping. Let's see. Find the guy and then kill the guy. She moaning. You hear her moaning? She moaning. Ooh, that shotgun. That increased elemental damage. poorly executed weapon swapping. You still alive? That was a perfect performance. Absolutely. Is that really the first time I've fought those guys? It apparently is. Don't worry. There's nothing to level up. There's nothing to see. I'm just gonna level something up so I can avoid seeing the plus button. Alright. Got that handled. Obviously the damage is good enough to do stuff like that. And if you're not a maroon... It's not like the second one of those I've gotten. That's all they're giving me. I've sold like 3 of these already. It's all they give me is awaken added chaos damage. It wouldn't be a showcase without hopping into the mines. You gotta pop into these mines, see what's good. Try to find the hidden bodies of Nico. Nico in the forever dungeon of bodies. Now, one thing that's a bit awkward about all these Berserk builds is it feels so good to be at maximum rage and so bad to be at minimum rage, and I hate weapon swapping. So most of the time I'm literally just running around not even using Berserk, but there's so much power to be gained from Berserk. So much power. And it feels so good to pop Berserk that you're always in this state of, do I want to pop Berserk and be awesome, or do I not want to pop Berserk and just be a loser? Well, that was a big freeze. Why am I freezing when I hit people? What is going on? Okay, apparently I freeze when I hit people. I don't understand. Is that a mod? Is that really a mod? That seems kind of silly. Some sort of... I have never had... Is some sort of reflect? That is super weird. As I was saying, it's a dishonest build because I don't have immunities, which I think is just dumb on Path of Exile's side. I don't really like how you just got a big-ass checklist of stuff you gotta get that might kill you. And it's just kind of annoying to go through the checklist. Oh, do I have spell suppression? Am I immune to ailments? Am I immune to corrupted blood? Am I immune to fucking... How's my armor? How's my evasion? It's a little too much. Damage over time on the ground. Life regeneration. Leech. Chaos mitigation. Physical mitigation. Because you got to get armor, and you also have to convert physical into other ailments if you really want to get tanky. It's just kind of annoying. A little too much. But I think elemental elements are fine. Whatever that last one was, where they were just freezing me whenever I would hit them, that's not okay. No one likes that. That's annoying. But regular ailments is fine. Ignite, bleed, poison, freeze, shock, those are great. But they probably ought to get rid of corrupted blood. That's stupid. And there's a bunch, like grasping vines is just terrible. You get rid of grasping vines. No one's like, oh yay, grasping vines. And there's nothing you can do to avoid grasping vines. It's not like there's a counter to it. But anyways, let's do an atoll. One of the best maps in the game. Not for density, but for layout. I feel demos are real nice when you have a good layout. Yeah, that should be fine. Let's put Multistrike back on. Let's do Multistrike with Pulverize. So let's get rid of Volatility. And Multistrike, let's put you back on. Da-da-da. Yeah, yee. And let's fight some Red Beast. Hold up. Soundtrack ended. Just put on a random mix of NES music. Let's do it again. Let's get into it. See, a lot of the playstyle is doing that single swing. That right there. And with Multistrike, that single swing is weaker. Pops off a little faster, but it's weaker. So I just prefer the other playstyle. But when you pop onto a boss or an enemy, being able to just whack them off this quickly is really nice. I'm just kind of torn on what's best. I mean, that pops off nice and it looks great. But you don't get any exerts, so the exertion's useless. Which means I could path out of it and go into something else. And I'm not using a movement speed flask, so when you're playing this, obviously you can throw a movement speed flask on and just cook a little faster. But moving too much faster than this, it just, after a while, it makes me feel a little sick. So being a little slow and methodic is a little more my speed. As you saw, it kind of auto-targets sometimes when you got Multistrike. So it is real handy, especially for blighted maps. If you're going to do a blighted map, Multistrike is definitely recommended. Because it'll kind of swing your directions and automatically sometimes. I don't know exactly how it works, but it will kind of auto-target with the extra swings, which is really great. And this will work on several different builds. Elementalist could be really nice with this because you can really pump up your shocks and ignites if you wanted to do an ignite version, or even your freezes. And it has the elemental damage one. I think won't increase the AoE, but it will give you more damage. And then obviously the Assassin and Trickster both have viable options. And Pathfinder, very, very plausible. And then also the Raider. The Raider could be really nice because you can get a lot of you know, movement speed and attack speed, which kind of offsets the slow attack speed on here. And then the built-in spell suppression is really, really good. But I think you get like a negative resistance thing, which won't be that good because it treats resistances as inverted. I don't know exactly how that'll work. And obviously Slayer would be pretty rad. You can do a jug version too of some sort. I'm not sure what else I got to show. I think that was enough. I can do a synthesis map. Let's do a synthesis map, and then we will call this game. Any of them that haven't been witnessed by Maven? Maven witness, Maven witness, Maven. They've all been witnessed by Maven, it looks like. These are really random tracks. We'll switch it. I don't know. Rage Racer is what this is from. I'm still keeping the Multistrike on. I played a bunch of maps without it, so I'm gonna play a bunch of maps with it. The Herald of Ice explosions are pretty nice. And if you're using a Carcass Jack, it's even better because those pops are a little bigger. But it works fine as is. Ran right to the boss. Now if I hit my buttons right, we can get a good execution on this boss. We're gonna do T, T, and E. T, T, E. T, T, E. T, T, E. And then ham it out. Biggity bam. Done and done. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have eaten. I am full. I am stuffed. See, it did that auto attack. It was swinging one direction and then immediately switched directions. This might be a little better for playability. I mean, my damage is high enough that it just erases everything anyways. So it might be superior to have multi-strike while mapping. It might even be better all the way around. I don't know. It'll free up war cries, or I could switch to the war cry that gives me endurance charges. And endurance charges is real nice because I'm not using anything to mitigate physical damage. One of these days it's going to allow me to click on that cache. Diablo has always felt better on the mouse click feel. It's just a little bit more responsive on both Diablo 3 and Diablo 4. Probably just because POE's graphics engine and all that UI stuff is just so old. Hopefully POE 2 has a big difference. It's like they need a better like click box or hit box or something. Or I'm just a crackhead, but this is really the only game I have that kind of a problem with. Never mind. I have a little bit of a problem with League of Legends. Sometimes when I get hit in League of Legends, I lose where my mouse cursor is. So maybe it's a me thing. Yeah, but this is pretty chill. This is pretty smooth. I really like the look and the feel of it. It's arranged. But I'm not sure it's better than Smite. Smite kind of has a very similar playstyle and feel. You just run around and you hit people from a distance, but it is new. It is shiny. It is exciting and exotic. And that's what I came to show. Shiny, exotic things. Now let's see if we can actually identify, you know, what actually happens with quality here. So let's just take this body armor. I don't really need to strip it bare, but let's strip this body armor bare. And let's grab the other one. Body armor, body armor. Right here, Dahlia. So let us put this guy in a red slot. I'm gonna stay without rage. Okay, let's try to get as far over in this corner and tack up into this corner. We'll do like a full 360 view so you can see it from all angles. Without anything, that is what we're actually, just take this off too. Just increase levels. Actually, I have a second butchering, which would be great to explore with. Lacerate of butchering. Lacerate of butchering. There we go. So this way we can take a look at what 20 quality does. 20 quality. This is 0 quality. Oh, it looks like it reduces the range. It says radius, but maybe yeah, that definitely is reducing that range. Look at that. Definitely reducing the range. Okay, I mean, if you read it to radius is not range, in my opinion. Like, it increases the radius to 1.25. So let's just see a standard 0.5 radius increase. 0.5 to me is unnoticeable. Right? That was unnoticeable. So let us go a little deeper. We are at, it says 3.5 meters. I definitely think it has a little bit more range. And then let's go all the way. Oh man, it feels like more range. It is so hard to tell what the hell that is doing. It kind of looks like it's flattening the angle too, a little bit. Just flattening the angle. Nope, never mind. Angle looks the same. Definitely has longer range. Yeah, definitely has longer range. Now let's pop this Pulverize in here in a green, which is going to give me increased area of effect, 26% additional. Definitely wider, but it's not that big of a benefit. Let's go get another one. I have an Awaken, increase area of effect somewhere in here. Or am I using it? No, I'm not using it. There it is. Let's put this in a green. Oh, that's area damage. We'll want that in a red. Won't really make a difference. I mean, that's a pretty big single slice. Single slice. It's definitely pretty big, and you can notice it with that. But it's just not that beneficial. Some skills, like Cleave or Reave, you get increased range, and it's just super beneficial to get the increased AoE. But this one, not so much. Not so much. Which is what I noticed as I was playing. And I was like, okay, you know, we don't have a lot of benefit from using Adalias, so we're not going to use Adalias. We also don't get a lot of benefit from Carcass Jack, so I went shopping, and I got something that we can have a lot of benefit. So I'm going to demo a skill. I at least want to give it somewhat of an honest attempt to make it usable. So that's what I did with this. Gave it an attempt at being usable. Now I'm going to set it up how I like to run it. And we're going to go into POB. We're going to hit the POB. Let's see. Elemental damage, inspiration, pulverize. What other red socket? Oh yeah, I was using volatility. Volatility support. Only level 18. Let's give it a few seconds. There's nothing else I can really talk about this special. It's pretty basic. I'm rocking this guy because I like the increased strike chance and multiplier and physical damage. It's a pretty strong node. A lot of times it gets a dead node, but right now it's working really well for it. Triple rage, obviously really nice. Aspect of Carnage is questionable because you could do the Warbringer and get, you know, exerted attack, still 50% more damage if you've Warcried, sacrificed rage recently. And then pair that with getting an additional Warcry, and then focus on really big damage and slow attack speed. So even here, if you wanted to, you can grab the two-handed weapon, still 60% increased damage with hits and ailments, 10% reduced attack speed instead of the 40% increased damage against rare and unique enemies, which will give you a little bit more damage to hit those big shocks. You can also put shock support on there to make sure you're getting 50%, but that's going to reduce your damage. But this would be the setup that I think I like the best. Out of all the ones that I've played, these are the sockets I like. So let's see how the sockets I liked compare on like a DPS check. This always takes so long because the Berserker's got all the stuff. Got to click the rage buttons and all that jazz. And I'm not exactly the best at POE, but let's take a look at what we got. Let's start with the tree to make sure that this is clicked, because for some reason that rarely is. Let's go to skills so we can watch it grow, include in full DPS, and then let's go to configuration and watch these skills grow. Let us start. No. I think I have life tap, but I don't think it matters. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I do have onslaught. I am fortified. I have 110 rage. Am I on consecrated ground? I am not on consecrated ground, which would help for my life regen. I have crit recently. Enemy is in fact blind. They are ignited. They are chilled. Are they frozen? No. Let's do 20%, nice and flat. A lot of times it was up in the 40 range. A lot of times it was in the 24 range. They are intimidated. I could cover them in ash, but they aren't. Warcry power. Let's just throw 10. I don't really know what that's going to do in there. And let's make it a Guardian Pinnacle boss. So we're looking at, let's do double. Both slashes, fully berserk, fully ancestral totemed. It's doing like 7.5. It's saying 7.5. So let us check it. Skills. Let us go to enable regular haste instead of all haste. And we're going to want that's the increased damage just from the Warcry. I don't know if that's calculating right, but this will be a Warcry, an exerted attack versus a non-exerted attack. So that's a pretty big jump in damage. And let's drop off War Chief. That's a huge... God, I hate War Chief. I hate that it exists. I hate that I'm losing so much damage by not having this on there to cast during bosses. Ugh, I hate it so much. Alright, let's see how much we're getting from the Assassin Mark. And Assassin Mark's pretty good. That's the right call. That is the right call. I actually can apply an additional curse. So, I don't know... Can I just type curse in here? I don't know what curse I would even use. I mean, probably just punishment, but then I'd have to put their life at low life to actually see that. So I'm just going to leave it alone for now. Let's see what conductivity does. Yeah, I figured as much. Okay, now I know how that works. If I curse them with conductivity because I hit with reverse elemental resistances, this is a damage debuff. A debuff. Debuff. I can't even say debuff. It's debuff. I've been watching too many Shia LaBeouf movies. I can't say debuff. Oh, now I think I permanently broke myself. I will only say debuff from now on. Alright, let's disable Berserk. So, we're cruising around with no Berserk and no Ancestral War Chief. We're cruising at 4 million DPS, which is actually pretty good. If it wasn't for my body armor. My body armor is a little too good for this build. My body armor is expensive. It's not good to view here, so I'm going to view it in here. But this body armor is pretty slick. I paid 20 divines for it. And that's the most expensive piece I have, unless these have shot up in price. These probably, I'm guessing... Oh, I don't have Awakened POE trade up. I'm guessing these are going to shoot up in price if I were a betting man. The Ashes of the Stars are going to shoot up in price because of that extra quality. Once these big creators start making builds that aren't starter builds and they get creative, it's really going to increase the price, I believe, of Ashes of the Stars. Let's see if that's already taken effect. Let's get rid of this. We don't need that one. Let's search what a 29 looks like. That's very cheap. I paid 15 for this on like day 2. It's still about the same price, about 15 divines. So the price has stayed the same. Okay, so they're holding strong, but they're not getting more expensive. Everything else I have here is just super cheap. 6 chaos. This is a very high rolled one. If we get rid of this, it'll drop it a ton. 15 chaos. This is so much damage. I never even used or thought about this ring in my entire life. But when we look at this, 20% increased damage with hits and ailments per freeze, shock, or ignite on an enemy. And I have freeze, shock, and ignite. I don't freeze that often, but I do shock and ignite. So at minimum, I'm getting 40% elemental damage. Probably 60 on bosses. I don't know how it works with the freeze, but I think they'll get immune to freeze, but you still proc the freeze. So you get the credit for that 20%. And then you get another 30 and 30. So if you don't have this leveled up, then it's like 120% increased elemental damage. Then you pump this up to 20%, and you get another like 10% on top of that. So 130% increased elemental damage for a single ring is a fuck ton of elemental damage. And if this ring wasn't so good, I'd go buy a second one. But this ring is so good, and I have that fire resistance on this ring, which is, for some reason, just happened to line up. I didn't plan it, but it just lined up, and I got perfect elemental resistances, so I can use Wise Oak. The Bear Grylls is cheap now. This is a nice pair of gloves. This guy's going to be pricey. This is a nice pair of boots. This guy's going to be pricey. A couple divines each, 2 to 3, 2 to 3. This one's only 2 to 3 because it only has intelligence and spell suppression, and then movement, speed, and life. Maybe it's more expensive than that. That is really nicely rolled, but it does have one dead node, which is the evasion, energy shield, and stun. So it's not going to be the most expensive, and the lightning's only a tier 3, but that's a pretty good pair of boots. I mean, I guess I can just hit Control D and see if we can price them out. Let's do movement speed, elemental resistances, and spell suppress. I mean, you can get your, so a divine there. Let's see what happens when I pop ant on there. Yeah, I figured nothing would be there for ant. Let's do this ant. Let's make it 40. Let's make this spell suppression 10. 2 divines. So this is probably a 5 divine. 5 to 10 divine pair of boots. Gloves. I mean, these gloves don't really need the accuracy rating. I was doing that because I was using precise technique when I bought these gloves or crafted them. I don't remember where I got these bad boys. Spell suppression. Let's take a look. 1 divine. You can get these for 1 divine. 8 divine with the accuracy, but you don't need the accuracy. You're getting accuracy from your sword, 60%. I mean, my accuracy's through the roof likely. Probably like 4,000 or some shit. 4,750, 100% chance to hit. And I'm doing that because, I'm no longer grabbing this. I probably papped out of that because of the accuracy. I'm just grabbing 2 of these. So I do need that ant. And that's it. I mean, it's really inexpensive. This guy wasn't expensive either. I picked this up for less than a divine. I don't think anyone really gives a shit about the converting. So you can get that for less than a divine. Let's take a look at some of that convert. Let's see what it does in terms of damage. Let's go full ham, because a lot of the time you will be full ham. You rock into a boss room, assuming you hit your buttons right. Let's give this a more realistic 30% shock, because when you're berserked, you are going to be shocking much bigger than that. So let's go to the skills of Lacerate, Butchering. Let's put these to 20 on each. There we go. Let's make sure we got a 20 here. And let's enable... I got that enabled. Let's enable Ancestral War Chief. And then we got Berserk that needs to be enabled. Where did the Berserk go? Where did the Berserk go? Wait, why is it disabled? Oh, that's in my weapon swap. Seriously, where's Berserk? Ancestral Warcry. Oh, there it is. I didn't say it because it was disabled. Alright. 8.3 millies. We got Berserk. Yeah, that's the maximum. Now let's take a look at what skills we can do if we want to really pimp this out on just the elemental. So obviously we got Awaken elemental damage with attacks. That's going to pump it up a bit there. Increased critical strikes obviously can be replaced with... We'll put Awaken Multistrike in there. No, we'll put crit damage. And see what it does. Alright. Well, then we definitely want the increased critical strike chance. Inspiration. That's probably pretty good. But let's throw on critical strike damage instead. Pulverize is very strong, but let's put on Awaken Multi-Strike. We're almost at 10 millis. Volatility. Concentrated effect. I mean, I don't think that would make that big of a difference. I didn't see AoE being like the biggest deal breaker. So you hit 10 million with concentrated effect. And then let's pop a +1 to Lacerate of Butchering. But I would never use that. I also wouldn't use Awaken Elemental Focus. I would probably use Volatility. So this is probably your best setup. And if you want the AoE, you can throw Pulverize back on. So if you're looking at your most powerful, you got Volatility. And if you got lucky with a +1 on the Multistrike, it would do nothing. Get lucky and get a +1 on volatility, that does do quite a bit. Lucky there, lucky there. Let's say you got lucky and hit that. So if you're maxing that out, that's pretty solid. 10 million damage. Not too shabby. Also not too great, but not too shabby. Let us, I'll just put this here. We'll put a regular elemental damage with the tax, and then we'll do pulverize there, and we'll put my inspiration back on like that. That's how I was running it. This is what I'm gonna paste in, but you can improve it quite a bit. Obviously, there's a bunch of shit you can do, but that's the build. I'll paste this in the comments. I will check you guys later.